good day, everyone. Welcome back to the show. My name is Sean David. Thanks for tuning in. Again, we got a very special guest in the house. He was Paco in one of my favorite movies of all time, in Bloodsport. Paulo Tocha, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Sean David. I appreciate it.
Paulo, Bloodsport, one of my favorite movies. But before we start talking about that movie, I want to rewind it a little bit back. I'm not sure if many people know, but you were in many ninja movies back in the 1980s, Godfrey Ho's ninja movies. And I'm curious, how did you, get involved with Godfrey Ho's movies?
We're going back now to 1983, around there, right? 83 to 85, around 86. I was in Hong Kong at the time, and I was starting to do other films and other things and learning, and I wanted to learn the stunts. I kind of like used to freak out on the stunts, because is it real? Is it not real? Godfrey, most of the stunts in his movies were real. They were just real. The guys were good martial artists. He had he had a good stunt team. They could somersault really well, do this, do that. And then the rest was just madness, man. It was just a mixture of everything. But he had his own script for his own film. But what happened when things didn't go whatever the way they wanted, they would cut from this movie to that movie, and they think, they can put us together. And they would make like 3 movies out of one.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, but when you're a young guy and you're acting and you're starting out in acting and in stunts and you're fighting and you know reality, I knew what reality means and fighting reality and life and death. I knew it on the level, very serious level at the time, and especially for those times. I didn't see many foreigners around when I with the people that I was hanging with, and that was just the way it is. But the movement was strong. The martial arts movement was strong. And the martial arts movement during those 80s, early 80s, we wanted a change from what was fake and not real to more real, We were trying to move it into the more real, to like make contact, connect, we know how to block, we know how to take a shot. We can take 20, 30 shots if we have to, but we want the thing done on camera really well, and that came later in Bloodsport because we had the chance to do it, but not in the other movies. We were just going through the motions, doing what they told us, and they would get foreign actors and foreign stars, whatever were going to become, and everybody was learning. It was fun. I loved it because I was doing it for myself, for nobody else. I wasn't involved in about doing it for the homies or for the boys or for this or for the buddies or for the clique, the gang. No, I was doing it for myself to learn this beautiful and very serious craft. But it is what it is, and I find those movies, they were cool.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm like, we talked a little bit before the interview, and I told you that when I was a kid, I was a huge fan of those movies. I never understood what was going on, because obviously there were more than one movie at the same time going on, sometimes 2 movies in one, 3 movies in one. But I was always waiting for the fighting sequences because they were 1+. They were 1 star. They were perfect. Like, to me, those were the first ninja movies that I knew, and to me, those were real ninjas. And so I'm grateful for those movies.
So that was one era that took me to another era. Well, the first era I was already involved a little bit with films, and I was doing some stunt work. I worked with Jackie Chan. Then when I got the lead, that was really like my big. This was a big film and a big starring role with Jet Li in Born to Defend. That was huge. We shot for 2 years in Asia, in China, in the mainland, and in Hong Kong as well, for about 3 months. At the end, we had 2 directors. We had Jet Li, and then another guy took over because the politics of filmmaking. But it was incredible, and that was really, really martial arts to the limit with the kung fu. I managed to see wushu kung fu and kung fu in Jet Li's style and all that, how fluent he was. I managed to see all that, studied with his teachers. He brought me his teachers to teach me kung fu. He wanted me to learn kung fu, wushu. He said it would help. It helped. It was interesting. Nowadays, I look back, I go, man, thank God I woke up every morning to go there to the park with his teachers. He brought his teachers to the set, and this was we lived together. We all lived together for 2 years. You get to know each other, but those were the big films where you learn. Now you start seeing the real players, and then from that, the foreign films, and the foreign films was Jet Li, and a few months later, a few years later, this new guy that was supposed to be something else, and they called me in to get cast, and I went to find out what this film Bloodsport was all about, and who were all these badasses, because I hadn't met them yet in the ring. I hadn't seen these guys around. I didn't know these names, so I was like, but that's another story we'll get into.
Yeah, let me know. How did you have to audition for the movie? How did you get the part?
I auditioned. They flew me out of China. I'm not sure if I was in Qingdao or if I was in Canton, but I went back to Hong Kong, where I was living at the time, and they auditioned me for. My agent called me for that, and I auditioned. I first auditioned with Michel Kissy, good guy.
For those of you who don't know, Michel Kissy was the guy who had his leg tarnished in the movie, and who was also Chong Po in Kickboxer.
And Michel was like, "No, man, you do Muay Thai, you're different. You're not the same as these people, and this and that." And I know, I understand that we love Muay Thai in France and Belgium and this and that. I said, "Thanks, brother." He said, "No, I wanted to play." And then they had seen me on a fight on TV, and because I had fought in China, in Hong Kong, I'd fought a bunch and all that, but they had fought in China. It was quite a big thing. And then Jean Claude said, "Oh, you do Muay Thai?" Because I thought, "Yeah, we go again. Don't tell me these guys are going to ask me to play this or that, or ninja, or Kung Fu Killer, or kickboxer or something." And I told him, "Man, I want to play." He said, "What do you do? This and all." And I said, "I want to play a Muay Thai fighter, And I was surprised that they didn't have a Muay Thai fighter, because they were Thai fighters. But I knew them. I was there, especially in my camp. We had so many champions, but I knew them. There's so many really top, but they were not actors. See, they didn't understand the movement, the stunts, you see what I mean? It's because I questioned that, I questioned why me and why not some Thai champions in Bangkok? Yeah, I can even bring some. But they were, no, we want you. You're a foreigner and you're different, and you like the immigrant. I was portraying the little guy. I was portraying the faceless ones, the little guys, the guys who come in and kick ass. I told him I want to show Muay Thai. In those days, it was called Thai boxing.
Mm-hmm.
We want to show Thai boxing. We want to show Thai boxing because I had my shorts, I had everything. I was a pro fighter, and I'd done so many other stunts and everything. I knew these guys, and I want to do this for my own. You know what I mean? To give respect to my teacher. If I can only get my shorts of my gym, and my teacher and my team and my the boss of the gym, who's super powerful, man, can see this. Wow, what an honor for me in Muay Thai.
Absolutely.
Going back to Bangkok. You know what I mean? I represented. I did it. Doesn't matter who it is, but somebody's got to do it. When we were doing it, it was rough because there was a lot of full contact, and your body can only take so much. So I was seeing what was happening on the set. As far as I know, they cut out a lot of scenes from me, a couple of scenes. But those scenes were sort of, they liked me so much that they were putting me in more, and we were getting fighters and the stunt coordinators and, it was just everybody around it was all asking. I knew there was an incredible amount of respect for Muay Thai. Because in Asia, that's a given. And because I was living in Asia, I knew that Muay Thai is king and everybody respects and everybody wants to test it. Come on, and you get what you deserve. So that's it. And in those days, you really get. Nowadays, it's different and the laws have changed and everything's changed. But in those days, especially leg kicks and knees, they were vicious, People weren't used to, and elbows. They weren't even used to elbows. They had no clue what. We were fighting pro with elbows. killer moves, and nobody even knew those moves even existed. In right now, every kid can watch on YouTube and on Facebook and all these media and do it. But in those days, you couldn't.
Open only to the world's most lethal warriors. It has never been won by a Westerner.
Okay, then tell me, who was the toughest fighter on the set?
The toughest fighter.
Yeah, for real.
Explain, for real.
Yeah.
For real fighting.
Yes. Now, we all know Jean Claude Van Damme.
You want me to be straight up?
Yeah, absolutely. 100% for real.
I never thought of this like this. Let me think. I don't like, man, I don't like.
So, okay, you want to say you?
I'd say.
You?
I don't want to say it. I felt like, I'll be honest, I felt like I'll fuck them all up if I have to.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
If we're going to get like straight out about that kind of bad situation, everything, I'm old. Yeah, I'm an old guy now. But when I was young and I'm looking at the early 20s, I was fearless, man. I'm a fighter for Sotonikung Gym in Bangkok. Forget about everything else. When I get in the ring, I'll break. It's my job to win. I get paid to make a living like this. I have to represent. I am one in a million. I don't see other foreigners around me. I see Thai guys or Chinese guys or a few other Asian places. But hardly ever you see a foreign fighter. When I meet them, I love them. Where you from? I didn't even get out my gym. I only visited my Muay Thai gym, my Thai gym in Thailand until the year 2001. I never went to another gym. I'm loyal. That's how we do it in the old days. And I was loyal to my team and my people because I can learn from them and they give me so much love. My teacher take care of me so well, helped me so much, loved me so much. It wasn't about money in those days. I didn't even pay. Never paid. You pay when you fight. That was completely different, everything. And if we're going to get into arguments and street fighting, man, I don't like to think like that. But I think Michel Kisi had some good moves. He's a good striker with his hands because of his family. His brother's a big boxer before and all that. Michel
he was also a professional fighter.
No.
No, he was. Before he moved to the States, he was a professional fighter in Europe. 100%.
Well, there you go.
100%.
There you go. That's awesome. So there you go. Him, I would say him because of his height and his reach.
What about Bolo?
I love it.
I can see it in your face. You don't want to say it.
I love Bolo too. If I had to, and I was put in a position where they're giving me money, a lot of money, and I have to go up against a guy he was very heavy compared to me. I was 145, 150 in Bloodsport. Bolo must have been 200 at least. But he's a gentleman.
Yes,
and a good man.
I heard.
And respectful, very respectful and very honorable. And I got to tell you, because I like watching people, man. I like checking people out and watching, I know, we're all learning, and as far as I'm concerned, we're learning every day. And I learn something new every day, and I'm happy that way, And I used to look at these guys and the way they move and I got to say, I was impressed with Bolo. Bolo moved like a pro. Perfect movement. The way he snapped, the way, the way he almost took your nose out, but he didn't. It's not luck. Might have been luck with other actors, but with Bolo, it was precision. He knew what he was doing. I love that because that shows me you're a professional. You're not there for your ego. You know your role. You know where you stand. You're part of a bigger picture. You got to respect that. You got to understand film. You got to understand the difficulty in making all this and how easy it is to make it all fall apart. So I love Bolo. All of them. I love Michel too. He's my buddy. And I don't want to think bad about beating anybody, but if I had to fight, I'd fight them all and beat them all. And if that was for real, I would have knocked them or put them or done whatever. That's I truly believe that.
I believe that too. I believe that too. I just want
knocked out. I don't care. I was a fighter. I was fighting, and that's how we do it.
Exactly.
And, I represented Muay Thai, and if it wasn't a film, Jean Claude wouldn't have done it either. That's it. That's just the way.
Paulo, one more question before I let you go. Now, you kept yourself pretty busy over the years. You were in many movies all over the world, but you kept yourself busy, and you have a new project right now, a documentary. Can you tell me something about that?
Yes. So during these tough times with this COVID and all this destroying our lifestyles and our way of living and putting us into a new state of mind, which isn't going to change. During all this, Muay Thai was shut down by all governments, mostly, especially in Thailand. And the fighters already are poor as it is. The majority of fighters are poor. Muay Thai is a not everybody comes from disadvantaged positions, but in general, as a whole, Muay Thai in Thailand is for poor people. And so when poor people suffer, it goes to another level, you know, and they suffer enough as it is. So we were looking and seeing what's going on. And, you know, we were seeing that, man, these guys, they don't eat. They don't have food to eat. The trainers don't have food to eat. The masters don't have food to eat. The gyms are closed. They're not allowed to fight. They're not allowed to train. They're not allowed to hang out. It's sad because I grew up with a lot of these people and I'm seeing them, you know, go to a level that sad. It's sad, man. It's just sad. And you can't help everybody because you've got people from everywhere asking to help this and that. But at the end of the day, you've got to do what you got to do. So me and a friend of mine, he's my buddy Dinesh Weeks. We decided to produce. He's produced a lot of stuff before, and he's great and genius with music and many things. And we trusted each other. And at the time, a friend of mine, Ajahn Master Tanong, the head of Lumpini Stadium Rules and Regulations, chairman of Lumpini Stadium Rules and Regulations, he had spoken to me right before COVID, 2017 and 18. He had told me, what do you think if women fight at Lumpini, you know, because all these things are happening behind the scenes, this and that. I said to him, hey, man, I think that's awesome. I think that's great. I hope one day it's possible because it's completely illegal for women to even touch the ring at Lumpini, even to take a picture. You know, women's not allowed to touch the ring, you know, because of various things that happened before or things that people perceive to be true or cultural. There's a lot of different areas there. And I told him, no, we got to do it. If they decide to do this, let me know, you know. So when they called me in 2019, 18, he told me again, I think we're going to do this and that. And I said, okay, you know, we kept talking. And then I got the call and I told my buddy, what should we do? And we decided to do a film. We decided to do a film that's long overdue. And it's about empowerment. It's about empowering people. In this case, it's about empowering people that enjoy Muay Thai and other sports that have suffered tremendously because of prejudice and because of racism and because of inequalities and because of a lot of bullshit in the people's heads that maybe times before had more reasoning to do with what we can do. But we in 2021 and now 2022, and we got to move on. The world's not going backwards. The world is going forward, and it's not going to change for us. We're just going to have to change with it. So I told him, man, we got to give the ladies their voice. We got to give them their power, man. You know, I've trained so many ladies, you know, before and world champions. What are you guys doing, you know? And I know the situation very well because I'm also involved as a vice president of the World Muay Thai Council, USA of America, and as a vice president of the United States Muay Thai Association, the two biggest organizations, and as a judge and referee also for all of them and for the WBC International. So I know the disparity that exists and the differences that exist, including payment. Why? My mom spoke to me about this a long time. I've got a sister too, and I've got a mother too. My mom passed away, and I knew long ago that women don't get paid what men get paid. I learned young, because in my own ways, I was already young and outgoing and revolutionary when I was young, and I wanted to know why. Why are these people? Why is this color suffering? Why this color doesn't suffer? Why does this happen? I'm a why kind of guy. I'm always asking why. People don't get it. I know why already. I just want to know what you know. Why do you think it's got to be like that? Because it hasn't. It's got to be the way we can make it. We can change things. We are the world. We can change things.